Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Sunday School. So what did we learn about this week? Think about the story that you heard and the activity that you did. We all experience times of wilderness in our lives, chapters of our story when we're confused, sad, angry, and afraid. These are periods of time when we can feel distant from God and alone in our struggle. In these times of uncertainty, we often understandably begin to think of our own protection. When we are scared or angry or upset, it's easy to forget that we have God to lean on. We always have God to help us through these times, and we are not alone. Our song this week reminds us of that. Let's read and learn the lyrics. After each line, repeat after me. What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. So now it's time to listen and learn. I'm going to sing the song now, and then it'll be your turn to sing. What a friend we have in Jesus, all our grief and sins to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. And now it's your turn. Go ahead and sing along with me. What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Thank you so much for singing with me. I hope you liked the song this week. When we are scared or sad or angry or upset, it is easy to forget that we have God to lean on. We always have God to help us through these times, and we are not alone. These are the things that I want you to remember as you sing our song this week. Thank you so much again for singing with me. I hope you liked this week's song, and I hope you have a great week. See you all next week. Goodbye.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Avery, for that beautiful song. It's one of my favorite songs. And it does remind us that we can take everything to God in prayer and that we don't need to worry about things because it's really just a waste of energy. And today's story is a little bit about why we don't need to worry about those things because God is there. God is there even when we don't call on God. God is there to be with us, protect us, grieve with us, celebrate with us. And the wandering in the wilderness is part of our story about being sad and lonely, but trusting that God is there to provide for us. And in this story from Exodus, the Hebrews were wandering in the wilderness and they were hungry and they were grumbling, and God ended up providing food and water for the Hebrews. So this kind of story is to help us remember that when we are anxious or when we're sad, prayer is a good place to go. A little conversation with God is a nice thing to do. The story that I have for you today is Maddie's Fridge. And it's a story about two friends that end up being the answer to a prayer. Maddie's Fridge, written by Lois Brandt and illustrated by Vin Vogel. When Sophia and Maddie played at the park, they stretched their toes to the sky. They climbed to the top of the ladder and flew off the end. They stayed until the buildings grew long shadows and even the taxis stopped honking. "Let's play on the climbing wall," Maddie said. "No way," Sophia said. "I can't reach." "Yes way," Maddie scooted up to the top of the wall. "Your turn." Sophia put a foot on the bottom rock, grabbed with one hand and stretched, but she couldn't reach the next hold. Sophia's stomach growled. "I give up. Let's get a snack." "No way," Maddie said. "Let's stay here." "Yes way." Sophia ran to Maddie's building and raced up the stairs. "Wait!" Maddie ran after her. Maddie was the best climber, but Sophia was the fastest runner. Sophia swung open the door of Maddie's fridge. "What have you got?" "Well, we have milk," Maddie said. I'm saving it for Ryan. He's still little." "Well, why doesn't your mom go to the store?" Sophia asked. "We don't have enough money." "But what if you get hungry?" "We have some bread," Maddie said. "I guess I'll go home to eat," Sophia said. "Please don't tell anyone," Maddie said. "Okay? Promise?" "I promise." Sophia ran home past the bookstore and past the grocery store. The sun went down behind the buildings and took all the color with it. "Good timing," Mom said. "Dinner's almost ready." Louis was wrestling on the floor with Pepito. Sophia opened the refrigerator door. Pepito peeked inside. Sophia's fridge was full of milk and eggs and tortillas and cheese and lettuce and jam and salsa and tofu and even half a can of dog food. "Here you go," Mom said. Sophia and Louise had each a plate of fish and rice. Mom had a plate of fish and rice. Even Pepito had his bowl of dog food with a little bit of fish and rice. Maddie and Ryan only had some bread and a small carton of milk. Sophia couldn't tell Mom. She had to keep her promise to Maddie. Not fish again, Louise said. I wanted cheesy pizza bombs. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Fish is a good source of protein. Is fish good for kids? Sophia asked. Yes, Mom smiled. Fish is perfect for kids. That night, Sophia had an idea. Yuck, Maddie said the next day. Oh, Sophia said, double yuck. Fish may be good for kids, but fish is not good for backpacks. After school, Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia got there first, but Maddie scrambled past her to the top of the wall. Sophia stretched and stretched. Keep trying, Maddie said. You'll get it. I can't. Sophia jumped down. It's too high. That night, Sophia, Louise, and Mom ate frittata. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of frittata. Maddie and Ryan still had an empty refrigerator. Sophia couldn't ask for help. That would break her promise. She had to try again. Are eggs good for kids? Sophia asked. Not as good as cheesy pizza bombs, Louise said. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Eggs are good for you. After dinner, Sophia packed eggs for Maddie and Ryan. Yuck, said Maddie. Double yuck, Sophia said. Eggs may be good for kids, but eggs are not good in the backpack. Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won again, but Maddie shot past her to the top of the wall. Sophia grabbed one hold, reached for the next, and came down with a thump. That happens sometimes, Maddie called. This is impossible, Sophia said. Keep trying, Maddie said. You'll get it. That night, Sophia, Louise, and Mom had burritos. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of burrito and no salsa. Maddie and Ryan still had an empty fridge. Mom wished she hadn't promised, or Sophia wished she hadn't promised Maddie. Are burritos good for kids? Sophia asked. Burritos are very good for you, Mom said. Not as good as, Louise started to say. You should pay attention to nutrition like your sister, Mom said. The next morning, Sophia put 2 burritos in her backpack, along with tortillas, beans, cheese, and even some milk. No thanks, Maddie said. You haven't even looked, Sophia said. Is it fish? Maddie asked. No. Is it eggs? No. Is it gross? I don't know, Sophia said. Maddie shook the backpack. Something sloshed. Let's look together, Maddie said. 1, 2, 3, go. Burritos are good for kids and good for backpacks too. So do you want some milk? Sophia asked. Thanks, Maddie said, but I think I'll save the milk for Ryan. Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won as usual and tried to climb. You can do it, Maddie said. Take my hand. Woohoo! I made it to the top, Sophia shouted. We're the tallest kids in the park, Maddie said. Thanks for helping me, Maddie. I couldn't do it alone. Maddie shrugged. That's what friends are for. After they finished playing, Sophia walked home past the bookstore and the grocery store. Her own fridge was full of milk and juice and chicken and yogurt and bread and carrots and even half a can of dog food. She thought and thought. Maddie's fridge only had 2 tortillas and a cup of beans and a bit of cheese and a little more milk than before. Sophia didn't want to break her promise, but she couldn't help Maddie alone. Sophia told. She hoped Maddie wouldn't be mad. I'm glad you told me, Mom said. Let's see what we can do together. They loaded grocery bags with milk and flour, chicken, carrots, sugar, oil, and even frozen meat and vegetables. Louis pulled a pack of his cheesy pizza bombs out of the freezer. He thought and thought and thought some more. Then he put his cheesy bombs in Maddie and Ryan's bag. For a treat, he said. At Maddie's apartment, the moms talked. Louis and Ryan played. Sophia and Maddie ran to the park. You broke your promise, Maddie said. I'm sorry, Sophia said. Are you mad? A promise is important, Maddie said. But you're more important, Sophia said. I wanted you to have milk too. Maddie smiled. Are we still friends? Sophia asked. Always, Maddie said. Double always, Sophia said. Cheesy pizza bombs, Louis yelled. Our moms have cheesy pizza bombs for a treat. Sophia and Maddie raced up the stairs. Sophia slowed down so they could run together. That's what friends are for. In the back of the book is a conversation and some suggestions for the reader. Do you have a friend or a classmate who never eats breakfast and doesn't bring food for snack at school? Tell a parent or a trusted adult. When you have friends over to play, offer fruit and a glass of milk. You can even make them cheesy pizza bombs. Make posters encouraging people to give food or money to your local food bank. Ask permission to put your posters up in the grocery store, library, or schools and businesses. 1 out of every 5 kids in the United States is at risk of having an empty fridge like Maddie. Volunteer with your family or your class at a local food bank, pantry, shelter, or community kitchen. Ask your local food bank what foods they need. Then organize a neighborhood or school drive for those items. Your little brother or sister's wagon is perfect for collecting donated food. Talk to your friends, teachers, and parents about ways to fight childhood hunger. The more we talk about empty refrigerators, the fewer that there will be. We'd like you to know at the end of this lesson that you could be an answer to a prayer.